Thank you for joining us, Sue. Just working on some listings after the day job. She's already got her comment in. We ain't even started yet. Brett, I don't know what I'd do without you, man. I'd just be lost, brother. And we did this last week. Those of you just tuning in, we started the show and I didn't even click the live button, so that was my fault. So how's everybody's weeks going?
Cold.
Yes. Yeah, as you see, I got the hoodie on and the heater's still on over here.
Cold and snowy and icy. Now it's turning. There's ice coming down now. So
we're supposed to get a
how
little bit
much
this
snow
evening.
did you end up getting, Brad?
we got where I'm at about 8 to 10 inches, depending on where you're at. But we got about 10 inches at our house here. So I think it was officially 8 inches for the area.
And Brandon, you got some up there too, didn't you?
Yeah, we probably got, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, something like that. I don't know exactly how much it was.
Those guys up there didn't even worry about it. Y'all didn't even worry about it up there, do you?
You know, we really haven't had like a good snow in a while. It was 2015 and 2016, we had 37 inches at one time. And that was a lot. But yeah, since then, I don't like nothing's been too, we'd get a little spot here or there, but I showed y'all, I drove a Dodge Charger RT for 5 years. I had that was my baby, and I had it tuned and everything. And like, if there was dust on the road, it wouldn't go anywhere. So, you know, that shows you that was my main, mode of transportation. And I didn't let, snow didn't bother me. I was still able to survive even owning that. So it's not too bad.
Well, that's good. That's good. Let's see. 0 snow here in Arizona. Leroy will be with us a little later. I believe he had personal stuff he was taking care of, if I recall correctly. Isn't that what he said in the chat? He had this thing he was doing tonight. So we're already talking about part of, well, kind of, sort of. So I got two topics I want to discuss today. The first one is the weather and your inventory, how it affects your inventory, where your inventory is at. The second is what do you guys and people that are watching this later, please be sure to put this in the chat so we can review it. What do you guys think about drop shippers? So with the first question I got, Brad, how do you handle the weather with your inventory? Do you use a climate control, or do you just not worry about it, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, so it's actually we turned our garage into our area where we do all our online stuff. So it's got we got an air conditioner in there, and then we got a couple little heaters out here. So it keeps it's basically climate controlled.
All right. Yeah, Brandon, what do you do?
Well, most of my stuff is in my house, mostly my basement. But I do have a 2-car attached garage, and I have a good bit of stuff out there. The way I look at it is try to get the stuff that can't take temperature in the house, but I do have some stuff out in the garage still, and it was like 7 degrees the other night. But I think the garage is insulated enough that as long as I don't have it like right up next to the garage door, it's not going to get cold enough to affect anything. So, and if it is, then that's my own dumbness and I deserve to lose the inventory. But yeah, that's kind of how I deal with it.
Right. So me, I have this building. I call it a barn, but it's, it's not a real, what we would call a real barn, but it's a 12 by 24. And I do everything out of it. And what we have is we have a AC unit that will cool it there in the summertime. And then I got a heater unit that will warm the whole thing during the wintertime. A lot of you may not know this, or some of you may know this. I just felt like some of the new resellers that do watch the channel, this might be some good information for you. Weather is a key thing to inventory depending on where you store it. The reason being is if you do a lot of electronics in the wintertime, there's going to be a lot of cold nights and then warming up, freezing going on. And then also in the summertime, there's a lot of condensation, depending on if you have a climate control area or not. And that can mess up your electronics. It can create mold on your inventory also if you're not in a climate control area. So just remember that when you're sourcing, or not really sourcing, but when you're putting your stuff up. I know climate control storage units can be expensive in some areas of the country. I know we pay $200 and something for hours a month, and it's only a 10 by 5. So no, I'm sorry, it's a 10 by 10. I apologize. So they can be expensive, but that's just something you want to keep in mind when you're reselling. That noise is my dog. She's sitting here whining. I don't know why. She's sitting here whining. But keep when you get your inventory, make sure you have it in an area that's not going to be affected by the weather when you store it. That's very, very important. Brad, what do you think about drop shippers?
They don't bother me. If their money's green like everybody else's.
Right.
I know some people get real bothered by it, but it's like on my end, the item gets paid for. I'm shipping it to wherever it gets shipped to, and it's for me, it's basically like selling it to anybody else. So if they make some money on it, I'm not upset by it because I did the same thing on my end. So
right. Brandon, what do you think about it?
I've not had any trouble with it either. So
right.
Like Brad said, I mean, whether I'm selling it to you or I'm selling it to him and he's, the middleman to send it on to somebody else, I'm getting my price for the item, right? What do I care if you're buying it for your personal use or they sold it to somebody else that's going to use it for their personal use? I mean, I'll tell you now, so a lot of people talk about selling DVD VCR combos, and I found it quite odd. There's a couple brands out there that I would lay money that if I listed it right now before the time we were done, done this live, I would have it sold, and it would be the same buyer that's bought off me before.
Magnavox.
Well, Magnavox, and I think it's Funai is the subsidy brand of Magnavox. And this buyer will buy every single one of them you list, and they buy them quick. They're not a drop shipper. They're buying off of you to then relist on Amazon for a higher price. It's no different than a drop shipper. They're just putting in the extra step to list it themselves, and likely because they want to test them and everything. I've had several people that message me, hey, have you ever sold to such and such buyer? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy that buys the DVD VCR combos. If I'm okay with selling to them, why wouldn't I be okay to selling to a drop shipper, right? It's no different, except the drop shipper doesn't actually have the inventory in hand. Only thing that's annoying with the drop shippers is when they send you these specific informations of, please do this, 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 and this. And it's like, why do I need to make special effort for your order? You're a buyer like everybody else, and I don't need to write my 24-digit, order number on the outside of everybody else's package. Why do I need to do it for yours? That's kind of the only thing that really is annoying with them. Outside of that, the buyer's a buyer, sale's a sale, profit's profit, right?
Yeah, and I've
Right.
actually taken it. I've
So
taken it a step further. I've actually some of those guys that I know are buying, VCRs or buying combo units or buying. I've got one particular guy that I know buys when I put up a toner. He likes some specific kinds of toner. I've actually taken the step to actually contact some of those guys and ask them if they've got like a specific list of stuff they're looking for. That way,
Mm-hmm.
I can actually just contact them when I have something like that and just, tell them, hey, I got something going up.
It's nice knowing that,
right.
like, just use the Magnavox combo unit, for example. It's nice knowing that when you see it out at a sale and you know what you can buy it at because you know what it's going to sell for, you know it's going to sell, it's going to sell quickly, it's going to be a good buyer. So you know what price point you can source them at and then what your profit margin is going to be. The only question is when you get it home, is it going to work? Like that's the biggest question. So it's nice having those people in your back pocket because there's no question. Like people talk sell-through rates, there's nothing better than a 100% guarantee that somebody's going to buy the item off of you very quickly at a specific price. You can't get no better
Right.
than that.
So two things. The reason I asked that is because I had a drop shipper 2 days ago, and it was on some ink toner, which I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem selling to drop shippers at all. I don't have a problem selling anything. And what I was just trying to get you guys' intake on it because I'm like Brandon and Brad. It's kind of annoying because this guy was like, please do this, please make sure it's clean. Well, the item's new. There's no way to, it's sealed up. So I'm not really concerned about that. It's just, please don't make any reference to eBay and this and that. I mean, when I pack an item, I got eBay bags, I got eBay tape, I got, I put a thank you note in every single one of them. And it's got eBay on it. So it's just like you got to make the extra effort sometimes when they start doing all the requesting. It's kind of annoying. I think I don't mind it, but it's just I think it's just kind of annoying. And the other thing, I don't mind. I'm not going to decline to sell. I'm not going to do that. But it's just really annoying that drop shippers, expect you, yeah, you're buying it from eBay. I get your point, but I mean, my supplies come from eBay, and everything I pack an item with got the word eBay written on it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's
I
just
don't
kind of
honestly. I don't try to accommodate them in that way. I don't use eBay tape, but I do have some eBay branded boxes, and if that's what it's going in, that's what it's going in. And I try to accommodate.
okay.
I try to accommodate them in most ways. So I have some stickers that I will stick over the eBay label on the box, and do it that way. I'll ship it in the eBay branded box I have, but it has I have stickers that'll go over that, cover it up.
Can
And that's kind of what
I?
I do. And I ask, the thing I always ask myself is like, yeah, it's a little annoying, the little extra stuff that they ask for, but I know that most of them are just copying and pasting something that they've gotten already typed up. And then the other thing is like, if you take your initial like, out of it, it's like, would I do this for $40? Yeah, I'd do this for $40. So
Yeah.
So not to change the subject on the drop shippers, but you guys are talking about the eBay supplies and everything. And you always hear it out there. Don't forget your eBay coupon. It's going to expire this and that, and the other. I have to tell you guys, I again might be one of the only people out there that do things differently than this. But I don't use the eBay supplies, period. I tried them one time. I thought I was going to be smart and order these big bubble mailers. I was like, oh, I can use it, something to make use of. The first item I shipped out, I got a message from the buyer. Hey, my envelope came and it looked like it had been cut open. There was nothing inside of it. And I was like, what the heck are they talking about? And he sends me pictures and everything. And I'm like, dang,
Oh
that
God.
does look like it was cut open. And
What
so
did I just do?
I sit here, I file a request thing through USPS, and insurance claim and all of that. And then I felt bad because I ended up having to go and basically cancel the claim because I found out that it was the envelope, and you can kind of tell on this one, that end, you see how it's crimped down away from it? And
Mhm.
then, if it'll focus again. Anyway, one end they didn't seal. So what happened is it was just barely stuck together enough to where when I shipped it out, it was together, but during shipment, the whole end just busted open and the item came out of it. So I'm like, if eBay themselves are selling crap quality product, that's pathetic. And so I do still use them, but now I use extra tape and tape the seams that way they're not going to bust open. But yeah, that was my first experience using an eBay coupon, and needless to say, it left a sour taste in my mouth.
I'll give you
I
$5 for your coupon code. Every
I
time.
don't even know how much it is now because isn't it based on how much you pay for your store?
Yeah, it depends on which level store you got.
Yeah.
Which level are you at?
I pay for the $60 one.
Yeah, that's a $50 coupon.
Yeah.
There you go. I have $50 a quarter or whatever it is.
No, I use it
Whatever.
I only use it for tape, and I still have to pay like $11 for my order when I do use it. So I get the $25 coupon. So I'm not up there with you big time guys. We all got to have the $10,000 item store. But anyway, I get the $25 coupon, and I use it on tape. And for the longest time, we've used it on the white tape. And the white tape, I like the white tape because I found that it worked for my needs that I needed. And then this is the last quarter when we went to use the coupon, the white tape is no longer offered for you to use the coupon on. So now I gotta get that colored tape, which that stuff's just it's useless. I mean, it doesn't stick to boxes. It's just I was just I'm very displeased with it. And I still got a lot of it, and I got to figure out what to do with it.
I'll use this. I always use it on this 8x6x4 box, and I just get
That's a good
100.
hat box, ain't it?
It's a little
I buy
small.
tons of
It's a little
those.
small for a hat. It looks bigger on screen than it actually is, but
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I
I
use
get 100 of those with my coupon, and then there's a 16x12x9 box that I'll get too. So,
Brad, I use 864 on every single hat I sell.
do you?
Yes.
What the, hey, if you
I
can
put
make
them
it,
in a poly bag. I put
Yeah.
them in I have the clear poly bags. I put them in there. That way they're, protected from any moisture or anything. And then I set it in with, obviously sideways or whatever, but I set the bill in, and then I have the hat folded in, like if it would be set on a shelf or whatever. And you can take the top and just kind of bend it a little bit to where it fits in there. Even flat bills fit really good. And
Yeah.
buyers are pleased. So
Yeah, the 8x8x8, the 8x8x8s work really good for hats too. So
I want to let everyone know that there's a few more people in here. What normally is. If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to ask, and we will get to those. Let's see. Wait a minute. Whoops. There it is. Oh crap! I'm having problems. 16x12x8 boxes with my coupon. Almost every quarter Silverhead Stacker does.
I need
Yeah.
to actually look at the boxes. Maybe I can.
And then
order
Sue
boxes.
says that she noticed that some of the boxes don't measure up. So
yeah, I wouldn't doubt that either.
I want to touch on something real quick to the viewers. I put out a video this week on a bolo that I found. I've never found one in the wild, and you have to watch the whole video in order to see what I talk about. But you can always fast forward through it. So I want to, and I'm bringing this up because we was just talking about combo units and electronics. So I want to tell you guys how I do electronics. What I do is when I go looking and I find electronics, I don't look what a used or new electronic cost. I look our sell through or the sell price or what it sold for. I look up parts and repair. Here's the reason why. I don't know if if it's going to work when I buy it. So if I look it up and it's got, if I buy a electronic for $10, like usually the combo units run anywhere from $10 to $15 in my area, depending on where you get them at. If I can get one for about $10 to $15 and the parts of repair sold prices are above $40, I'll pick it up all day long. Now, when I get home, I got a Magnavox combo unit that I know I'm going to get $40 for, but I plug that sucker up, and if it works, it's tested, and everything works with it. Now I have a unit instead of $40 unit. I have a $100 plus unit, depending on the Magnavox that I got with the combo unit, or that can work with any other type of electronics. Example, I found a Bose Wave AM/FM CD player this weekend, or last week it was, and I got it. Every plug-in that we had that we could use in the store would not, the item would not work. So what I did is the item, it was $3. I can't lose on a Bose for $3. You just can't lose. I mean, parts and repair, they're above $40 anywhere. They go a little bit higher on some of them if you have the remote. This one did not have the remote. This particular unit ended up working. I sold this particular unit $150 2 days later, plus shipping. So the buyer had $170 total into the item. $3 into $150 is, well, it actually come out after fees and everything. I think it was $131 is what I got. Brad got disconnected. Looks like device not connected. So after fees and everything, it come out to about $131. So, and that's just off of looking at the item as parts and repairs. So keep in mind when you're out there and you see them electronics, don't be scared of them. Don't be scared of them. And you can always, I shipped electronics to California for less than $20. Guys, you can ship it to $20 with UPS. I use UPS when I do my electronics. Let me he must be, his internet must have.
You're not shipping that Betamax that I listed the other day for $20. I will assure you that.
No, that thing's heavy, if I recall correctly, right?
Yeah, that thing, when I put it on the scale after packing it, it was 32 pounds. Yeah. So you ain't.
I was just referring to like, yeah, I was just referring to like combo units and stuff like that, because normally they weigh they'll weigh under 8 pounds normally, but that Betamax, that sucker, that thing had to weigh at least 20 pounds, right?
When I put it on the scale after packing it, it was 32 pounds.
Yeah, that was heavy. Yeah. Hello, Absolute Finds. Good to see you. And Silver Hair just said he just shipped the same Bose yesterday. Yeah, I shipped mine. What day did I ship that? Was that yesterday or Monday? Wait a minute, what's the day? Today's Thursday. I shipped mine on Tuesday. So, yeah, those things sell. Bad, that's something to look out for.
I told Leroy, I always hop on and catch listing or loafing on Tuesday mornings with RIN guys. And it was Tuesday evening, and I'm like, why does it say RIN was like live, 4 hours ago? And I'm like, oh crap, today's Tuesday, because Monday being the holiday and everything and not going to the post office, and my daughter didn't have school, and the weather and everything else, I was thinking Tuesday was Monday. It had me all screwed up. And I told him, I was like, man, I apologize. I normally hop on and watch you guys and chat, but I had my days all mixed up.
I think one day next week, Absolute Finds, I'm gonna get with him. He lives like I mean, I might could throw a rock and hit his house. Not really. He lives down the road from it. I think I'm going to try and get with him next week and probably go to the Benz over to Greenville. So we'll get to meet him next week, and I can tell y'all all about him. No, he seems to be a pretty decent guy. I talk to him in the chat a lot, on Instagram, and he's come down here to the flea market that's right down the road from me. Like I can walk to practically. The one I used to sell at in Wednesday mornings, but it's gotten to be it's 12 degrees in Wednesday mornings now. He's been to some thrift stores that I go to. So he's familiar with the same area that I am, and we're going to, and absolute finds. I want to tell you that church that we was talking about the other day in the basement that's got the thrift store in the basement. That's where I found the Bose Wave machine, the radio player for $3 that I sold. That's where I found it. As a matter of fact, the day we was talking about it, I went later that afternoon. So you must have just missed it.
We're a little over halfway through January, and Chris, you said you don't go to yard sales because of college football. Brad, I'm assuming you probably hit yard sales when you get a chance.
We do. We hit yard sales and flea markets. Not every single weekend, but we do. We keep quite a bit of inventory with the way we do source. So,
are you guys planning out or mapping out? Because this is the best time to look back on the previous years. Like, where was the good neighborhoods that had a good community sale, or good deals, good prices, that sort of thing. I found, obviously last year was my first year reselling, but I found a couple. It's funny, you live in the state, and until you do this and you start hitting yard sales, you don't realize like some of the stuff that goes on, because there's several here in Virginia. The route sales, everybody knows the Route 29 one because Commonwealth and all those guys talk about it, but there's like, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 other like 100-mile yard sale type things here in the state. And I found a couple smaller route sales, they call them yard crawls, that aren't too far away, that I absolutely cleaned up at. So just curious, are you guys already marking your calendars? This one should be here, this one should be here, and like planning ahead? Because that's the fun part. I can't wait till that kicks back up again.
Yeah, we know where there's.
I'm actually going to start doing yard sales this year, Brandon.
Yeah, we know where there's a couple.
Like we was talking. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brad.
Oh man, it's all good. Go ahead. I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
Like we was talking about. I know there's a lag. There's a lag when I talk for some reason. I don't know why. Brandon, like we was talking in the chat earlier today about the thrift stores, that they're getting outrageous, man. And it's getting to be where I can't do anything with the thrift stores. And I mean, I have to go to 5 or 6 to find 2 or 3 items. You know what I'm saying? So it's getting kind of rough. Things are starting to go up a lot more. So I'm going to start hitting the flea markets a little more this year than what I've been doing. Okay, Brad, I'm done.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. We have a couple of we know like there's a few neighborhood sales up close to Murfreesboro that we hit that we found that we like to hit every year. Of course, there's the 127 and a couple of those kind of sales. And then, but yeah, we know where the neighborhood sales are. Our area don't really, we'll have like, there's a couple of nice neighborhoods, and they'll have them a couple times a year, but honestly, sales around here aren't great, but if you keep showing up, you do find good stuff. So we don't have really great yard sales here. It's a table with some glass on it, and not the good kind like Tim over the years finds.
I'll tell you. So speaking of glass and everything, I know you're kind of niched, and you like your toys and that kind of thing, and you know your zone that you like to play in. I kind of mix it up all across the board. But last year, some of the buys I made or opportunities that were presented really opened my eyes of some things that kind of were almost intimidating because it's stuff I didn't know about, right? And so I wouldn't look for it. But then if an opportunity presented itself to where I could dive into it at low risk, I realized how good it was. And I had the opportunity a few months ago to go to a hoarder house, and it was advertising an estate sale on Facebook Marketplace, and it was actually advertised for a Sunday at noon. And I messaged the people. Well, apparently the house, they had done the sale on Saturday, and I didn't know about it. I got there at about 11 o'clock, and they had already let people inside, and it wasn't supposed to start till noon. There was piles of stuff everywhere where people had just been making piles because they didn't have things priced. It was make a pile, we'll tell you how much for the pile. Okay. So I was cautious at first and made a little pile and was like, all right, how much for this? That way I could kind of see what the prices were going to be like. Needless to say, after I realized on my first pile that the prices, they were literally taking stuff out and throwing it in the dumpster as everybody was there shopping. That's how much stuff was there. When I say hoarder house, it was a hoard of stuff. It wasn't trash. They were collectors and a lot of it. And it was things outside of my wheelhouse. Like it wasn't the things I would normally look for. So I made a plan, and it was knickknacks, pick it up. If it had a marking on it, okay, put it in my bag, that kind of thing. If it was dog figurines, pick it up. People love dogs, right? Pick it up, put it in my bag. I wound up leaving that place with 4 IKEA bags, those big blue IKEA bags full of stuff, a Betamax player with remote, a box full of beta and VHS tapes, most of them all sealed, and then a huge baseball art piece that was signed and numbered. Everything for $80. I get home and start looking up some of these knickknack pieces, and I was blown away at the prices they bring. Like a little tiny picture that the handle looked like an ear, like 30-40 bucks. And I'm like, this is crazy. If I wasn't presented that opportunity, I could walk up to a table at a yard sale or something and pay no mind to that stuff. I start listing it, and what blew my mind even more is not the prices, but how quick the stuff actually sold. So that's something that I'm going to start opening up more to, is being a little more open-minded and not scared to take a risk on something just because I don't know about it, because there's some things out there that just are incredible at what the price and the value of it is and how quick it sells. So
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things that we are kind of niche down to a certain extent in a category that is growing for us, a very specific one, but we keep our eyes open for everything. A lot of times when we go to a sale, it's divide and conquer. The wife she's gotten so good at, just knowing what's good with toys and going for that stuff. And I'll just spend my time, I'll break off, I'll go look, at hats and shirts and tools and anything else that I can find. And you can find some really cool stuff. And, a lot of times the buy-in price on stuff you don't know about is so cheap at yard sales, you can afford to learn. I picked up some ephemera from a guy at a flea market, and just because I wanted to learn about it a little bit. And it was a briefcase full of had postcards and correspondence and all kinds of things in it. And I sold, I think I paid, he wanted 40 for the whole thing. And I just told him what I'd give. It was like, I can't remember, it was like 10 or something. and just so I could learn. And he wound up, every time I'd walk by, he'd be like, "I sell it for this much," and I was like, "I'm good." And then he finally said, when I walked by last time, he's like, "Okay, I'll sell it to you." So I bought it, and I sold like my first postcard out of it for like $35. And I still got every bit of that stuff except for that one postcard, though, because I found out I really just don't like ephemera that much. I think it's cool. It's cool to look at. And there's a pretty cool story there. I won't tell it tonight, but if we ever talk about ephemera, I will talk about what I actually have there. It's kind of cool. But anyway.
I want to talk about these. I want to talk about these, Chris. Sue, she says she has a set of those children's Bible stuff. There's a little secret, guys. These things right here, you can get them for free. You can find them at thrift stores. They're cheap, like really, really cheap. And sometimes you can find them for free. I got these things right here. They sell. You can normally get anywhere between $5 and $10 a book. Now, if you pick it up for free, plus shipping, if you pick it up for free, it's good. There's a set of them. There's 1 through 10. There's 10 of these in a set. I picked up 3 through 10 the other day for free. So keep an eye out for these. These do sell, even if it's a library version where you open it up and it's got the library X, where it's an X library or whatever. They still sell. These are the ones. I don't know if anyone's in here old enough, except for maybe us, that remember this. When we used to go to doctor's offices when we was kids, every doctor's office had one of these laying on a counter. So these are really, really good. Now these are a little thicker. I've never seen these. There's 6 to a set. I got all 6 of them, and I did get them free at the same time. Yeah, I don't know that there's different kinds. These are this guy's name's White. Whoever wrote it's name's White. So, and these books, like this one right here, these are not. So the latest copyright on this one is 1988. It was first done in 1950. I do have one of these books that the latest copyright was 1948. So I do have one that's got the latest copyright on it. And they go all, and I think this is one of the oldest ones. But most of them are the latest are 60s and 70s. And that's what these are also. These books here. They're from like the 70s, if I recall correctly. I'm sure that's the ones I find, the latest copyright on them. Like this one's 1975. This one's a 1975 copyright. So you can find them. They're free. Or if you find them at a thrift store, they're not going to ask very much for them. I promise you, because they don't know what they are.
When you say they're free, you mean you're walking into the lobby of doctors' offices and taking them?
No. No. Some thrift stores, excuse me, some thrift stores in our local area are, as a matter of fact, in 3 states, in South Carolina, Georgia, and North Carolina, the thrift stores that we've been in, anything that's got a Bible in it, if it has anything religious related or whatever, they offer it for free. And guys, don't be scared to pick up Bibles either. I mean, there's some Bibles out there that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
if you're
gonna pick Bibles up, don't get the ones that are just the text only. The ones that are really actually valuable to people who want to buy them are the ones with like their study Bibles. They have like
study Bibles,
specific study stuff, or their reference the big time reference,
or the large print Bibles, the large letter print
Bibles, reference Bibles, or people chain reference stuff, those kinds of things.
Yes, so check and see if you got a full set, and then sell it as a full set. You'll do pretty good with that, especially if you hardly like me. I don't have anything in them, so I'm gonna get do pretty good with them. But Brad, let me ask you a question. So
selling Bibles
when I first started, I'm gonna tell you a story. When I first started, I had an issue with that. I did. I was like, man, is it really right to do that? Today, I look at it this way, and I could be wrong. I'm not going to go to hell over it. I'm 100% positive of that, but I may have to stand.
You might.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to stand before the Lord, and He's going to, have a little stern talking with me about it. But here's the thing. So you go to a Christian bookstore, and you're paying $50 to $100 for a Bible. Now, what's the difference? You know what I'm saying? I'm not asking $100 for a Bible. I don't even think I've sold Bibles, and I don't even think I've sold any Bible over $20 yet.
Yeah.
And I had some Bibles that are worth more than that. Yeah, go ahead, Brendan.
I sold one for 120 last year.
Yeah.
Actually, the first Bible I ever sold for 120 plus shipping.
The big white family Bibles, the great big ones that our grandparents used to sit on the coffee table, and the great big ones. You know what I'm talking about? Those sell really well too.
Yeah. So
this one was brand new. It was sealed. It was an apocrypha or apocrypha.
Yeah, it has the apocrypha in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that it was one of those, and I didn't think that it would go for that much. My wife actually, she grabbed it and looked it up, and it sold relatively quick for 120 plus shipping. So
yeah. So here I got a couple of takes on it. So one, there's never been a Bible that's been bought that wasn't sold. So there's that. and then two, and I got a couple of things to say about it. And then two, if you've got, like, it's one of those things, if your conscience won't let you do it, then don't go against your conscience. Just don't do it. Right.
Right.
But the other thing is like, a lot of times people think, well, you're keeping Bible from the people who need them most. I promise you this, that the people who are buying Bibles off eBay are probably not people who need them the most. The kind of Bibles that actually sell for money, they're buying it because of the study helps and the things that are included with it. So the text, and this is not a justification, but the Bible text is not really what they're buying. They're buying all the extra stuff, the concordance stuff, the study stuff, the reference stuff, all of those things. That's what they're really paying. That's what they're paying the money for. That's what they're trying to get. And I promise you, the people paying $40 for that Bible, or $50 for that Bible, or $100 for that Bible, they're not the kind of people who don't have a Bible at all. They've got 6 or 7 Bibles that they're not reading. That's the same kind of stuff. It's like they got 7 or 8 Bibles or more on their shelf. And that's the truth of that. Another thing,
I'm not talking about Gideon Bibles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not talking. But you're not going to sell a Gideon Bible. That nobody. People buying Bibles aren't looking for Gideon Bibles. And then unless it's some kind of collectible piece. Another thing is I've given away. Yeah. I give away a lot of Bibles, and then our church actually has helped fund the YouVersion Bible app that you've got on your phone. We're partnered with the church that actually designs and makes that thing. So
really,
yeah. So if you need a Bible, there's a free one right here. They don't charge a dime for it. You can go get it, and it's available all over the world. It's been downloaded, 500 million times, I think, at this point, or something like that. So
I have it too. I use it all the time.
Yeah. So there you go.
I had something that I wanted to share because I meant to show you the other day. Well, actually, yesterday, I guess it was, because that's when it sold. So,
all right,
your boys are out of it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His boys are out of it.
I was very.
Your boy's gonna be out of it this week.
I was very surprised. So this actually sold, and it's not gonna shine right, but it's a Dolphins hat. It sold yesterday. After they're eliminated, all said and done. Like, I don't know if this person DVR'd the game and haven't watched it yet, and they bought it before they watched the game. I don't know. But that hat has stains and flaws and everything on it, and it sold for $40. I was shocked because
they didn't watch the game.
I figured when the Dolphins were eliminated, my sales on their stuff was going to go down. Steelers, their stuff was going to go you're going to have to wait till next year and the football season kick off. I was shocked when that sale hit yesterday. And what even shocked me more, and I love these, they're confusing as can be. And we don't have to dive too deep into this, but I think there's something behind it. It was actually $39.99 or best offer. And I don't know how often you guys have it, but when you get those sales that the item's been listed for, a decent amount of time, you've had best offer on it, and the people just pull the trigger full price anyway, it's almost like, why? Did you think that it was going to get bought out from under you? I mean, it's always confusing when that happens, but it happens pretty often. And I'll tell you my theory attributed to it is with all of the eBay changes, sometimes, especially on the computer, when you click into an item or if you see the item on an outside like Google search or something like that, it's bringing up a very generic portion of the actual listing. And a lot of it doesn't even show that there's best offer even available on it. And I don't think people are realizing that, and they're just punching that buy it now. So there's something else that I've noticed recently. I don't know if you guys have, but do you ever look at your traffic on eBay, like your impressions and everything?
Occasionally, not as much as I used to. I look at it, it gets depressing, so I just quit looking at it.
Well, I know I've been listing more items, but I have a theory, and I'm not tinfoil hatting anything. I'm actually trying to figure out some of the changes and updates that they're doing. So as of, it really shot more on Friday, but since Friday, my impressions have been about 150,000 higher every single day since Thursday, Friday timeframe. And I think, do y'all remember the other day in the chat when I said I don't really care for eBay's new update? Y'all remember when I said that and Chris said, what update?
Yeah.
I think part of it could be attributed to that because the impressions really don't mean anything. It just means your item is showing up on a person's page and, it's there and they could click on it if they choose to. So it's a metric, but it's not really telling you a whole lot. Well, I don't know if y'all noticed this, and I did a video on it, but I didn't upload it because I didn't know if I was just losing my mind because, the gray hair does get to you or what, but this little thing right there on the picture where it says find similar.
Yeah.
That's new, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that being.
Yeah,
new.
Yeah. I've been seeing it the last couple of weeks. Yeah. Yeah, it is new. Yeah. But it gets in my way, man. I don't like it.
That's what I was going to say. I don't care for it because I've noticed especially when I do my cards, that find similar is blocking that whole bottom corner edge of the card and everything. If you, there was another item I put up and I noticed it was like blocking part of the picture. And I think that along with, and I'll pull one of my listings up here and we can look at it. I'll share my screen. Let's see.
While you're doing that, I'll say this. Hey, eBay, I'm paying you to show my stuff to my customers. And the find similar thing, that's what the search is for. Don't put it on my listing.
Well, and they're doing it based off of like a Google image search. Like it's photo search. There, Chris, put that up on the screen real quick because I want to show something else that is like blowing my mind on how they're doing this. So I just listed this item. It's nothing, special. There's not thousands of them out there. It's an old vintage duffel bag. I thought this would be a good example. So here is our listing, and we're expected to put descriptions and all this other stuff, right? They want item specifics, descriptions, all this other stuff, because the key to where if somebody doesn't like something is item not as described, right? Well, here's my problem with it. This is your basic little area. You got, your title, your price, and this right here. You come here and it's similar sponsored items. Okay, so right off the bat, they're pushing more of sponsored items of similar form. Go down here and you got a whole nother row. Look, related sponsored item. Well, that's because it's Kodak, so it's related to the bag. So you got a whole nother row. Then you get into the specifics, and then you can see the details here. But then look, just pay line after line after line after line after line of products. Like I can just keep scrolling. All of these products, all on one listing page. So all of these
but
that
I
I'm
think
going
that
to
look,
now,
Brandon, you see that bag right there, that Berkeley fly, whatever it is?
this,
That's my bag. That's my
well,
bag.
it's sponsored.
Yeah,
So
that's my listing right there. You click on that, that's my listing.
well, my point to this is all impressions, because now I am one click away from clicking on an item. So all of these are counting as impressions now, which is driving your impression rates sky high, because if your stuff is showing up on anybody's listings now, it's increasing. So it's looking like you're getting more traffic, but really, and I'll tell you my opinion as a consumer, when I'm shopping eBay, I'm going on shopping for an item I'm looking for. I'm not at the checkout aisle at Walmart with all of the little bubble gums and little trinkets and everything else to try to get impulsive buys, right? I'm not on eBay searching at what eBay wants to throw at me. I'm searching for specific items I want. This, I actually feel, to me personally, would drive me away from eBay, because they're feeding unnecessary stuff. They're hiding our descriptions. I mean, not necessarily hiding, but a buyer now they have to scroll further.
Yeah.
In fairness, you put that little find similar button. Imagine this. Imagine an elderly person, okay? And we know older people shop eBay because it's been around for so long. They've learned eBay, so they're comfortable buying on eBay. But imagine they go to your item, right? And they want to zoom in on this, and they just accidentally hit that. Well, now they're taken away from your item. And we as sellers try so hard to get people into our store. It's like eBay's trying to do everything in their power to get the buyer to leave our store.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that it's creating a better buyer experience.
Well,
I think it's actually making it worse and more confusing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. One, it's not clean. Scroll down there just a little bit while we're here. You've got 2 rows of stuff before you get to, well, you've got 3 rows there before you get to description. So all those item specifics they're wanting you to put in there, all those things they're wanting you to say
are worthless.
It's just getting buried. And then, it's just, that's nuts. And then it's just messy.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
now
16,
Amazon
17,
does this
18,
also.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
Dang, that's still going.
24 rows. 24 rows after the description. So there's there's 26 rows of items.
Look what Tactical Z said.
Tactical, yeah.
And this is a random Kodak double back.
Are you listing from the phone, Brandon?
So I create drafts. This is how I do it. I create my draft on the computer, and then I do save for later, and then I take my images on the phone, and then I create the listing live after my images are done. But I do I go on and build a draft list. Like I'll do 5 to 10 items on a draft, and then I'll go over do my photos. And as I'm doing my photos, I put them, live
Yeah.
then. But
But are you building out your listing from the phone? And here's the reason I ask.
no,
So you're
no.
doing them on your computer?
I do it all on my computer. I'll go, and I actually even have,
Okay.
like, I'll just show you.
I was going to say, take advantage of on your.
I have some templates like hats. I do hats really quick because I have my hats set up where, like, I have all of this filled in, so it doesn't take me long to do them. So yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'll just go down here and do save for later.
Yeah. So I was going to
And
say,
then it'll have this. So
one of the things you can do, it's not going to matter on like new items, but on used items, there's that listing description. Let's see. Go back to your.
sorry.
It's all right. Go back to your the listing you were doing there, or just click into a draft there.
Yeah,
One of them you were working on.
Real quick, Tactical C made a good point. He says he thinks if you're paying extra to promote your listings, they should not show other sellers' items. I agree with that.
Yeah,
well,
I mean that's what the main search is for. Don't put it on my listing.
Right.
Like you're slapping me in the face, man.
I think
right.
I think this is to drive more promoted sales.
Yeah, and it sucks. Promote it in your listing.
If they find your store through a promoted listing and buy a different item, then that item still gets sold as a promoted sale because they found the item originally through a promoted listing.
Yeah.
So it's driving more revenue.
I think those rows you were showing were all promoted items.
Scroll down there. Right there. Condition. Back up a little bit. Condition description. I noticed your listing didn't have anything there.
I don't put anything there.
Okay, if you will, here, let me show my screen, Chris. Let me get it pulled up here.
Right.
Just a second. Let's see. Present.
Tactical Z, I do the same thing. All my listings are I do all my listings through my phone. Also, I find it so much easier. I hate doing it on the laptop. I don't do
it on there. I'll tell you one.
I find it easier.
Main reason why is these little jokers right here. I worked in manufacturing for so long, my thumbs are starting to get arthritis really bad.
Yeah.
And sitting there trying to do it on my phone. Plus, holding your phone, if y'all ever notice, like right here in your pinkies, like the bones start getting sore. Yeah, heck with all that. I'd rather sit here. I have a nice mechanical keyboard, and I just do it that way.
All right. Let me go back over here. Yeah, so
that's
you see
a nice chessboard.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. The board's not as cool as the pieces. The pieces are awesome. But if you'll notice underneath the condition here where it says used, you can
That's your description.
You can get a little bit of description in there that they can actually see. Now they still have to click into it if they're using the mobile. But if there's like something you're wanting them to see or something you're wanting to draw attention to, like if there's a flaw or if there's something that they might need to know, this is, your best bet to get them to see it without having to scroll down past all that crap,
Well, I'll be honest. I've come to the conclusion that buyers don't read much anyway, because back during Christmas, we actually had someone buy a Department 56 piece that we had messed the listing up on. My wife had put the wrong picture with the wrong listing title. And so the title was one thing, but the pictures were all of a different piece. And the person bought it, and she realized the mistake when she went to pull the item. She's like, I screwed up. And we messaged the guy, and he was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. No, I wanted the one in the title. He had never even looked at the pictures or read the description of anything. All he read was the title and hit buy it now.
Yeah, most people do that. This is just, I use it, that thing there is just as a second layer of hopefully they'll see it kind of thing, whether they do
CYOA.
or
Yeah.
not. Yeah. But you can get a little bit in real estate in right there that if there's something you're wanting to draw attention to, that's just one little extra thing. But again, like I said, on the mobile, they're not going to see that because they actually have to click on, item description part, even for that part to pop up. So I hate the way the mobile looks. I mean, it's so irritating with the eBay, that they want you to fill in all these things and then it's so hard to actually find. So they ought to
You
make
want me
it.
to leave this up, Brad?
No, you can click out of it. I was wanting to just show that one little thing there. But the reason I ask you if you're listening on the phone, or I don't think that little part is as easy to fill out on the phone as it is on the desktop version. But
Yeah, I do it all on the desktop. I use my phone for my photos, and then actually letting the listing go live after I take the photos on it. But now I had recorded a video sharing all of that, and I never posted it. And I think it would be a good topic to share out there because I haven't really heard people talking about it. But the only reason I didn't is I thought maybe I was just overlooking that little find similar thing on the photo. I noticed it Wednesday is when I first noticed it, when I was going back reviewing a listing I had just put up. And I was like, I don't remember that being there like that, especially not that big. And I found all of the lines of other stuff on the listings on the computer because I was like, let me go see, is there something to click on the computer as well? And I started scrolling and I was like, holy crap, there's just like line after line after line of stuff just like bloating the listing pages now. And it's like, this is ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
and I would love them to do, like, as content creators, I think most people that watch the content, I would say a lot of the people, I can't say most, but a lot of the people are resellers themselves. So our opinion is of the seller side of things. But I would really like to hear a buyer's perspective from these changes they're making. Do these buyers want this stuff? Because again, maybe I'm just old school and used to the old eBay, but when I'm on there looking for something, I am searching for a specific item. I'm not needing the 14 different flavors of bubble gum at the Walmart checkout aisle. I want what I'm searching for. And I'll be honest, I don't use Facebook hardly at all anymore because of all of the ad feeds that they just push to you. Like, I don't want to see all that crap.
I got on
Instagram.
Facebook for the first time the other day in like a little while to like really look, and every other post was an advertisement.
It's something you could care less about.
So I was like,
it's
I'm
the
just
same way on Instagram.
Hey, when you go on Marketplace now and you start scrolling through items in Marketplace, I mean, why am I looking at trash? When I say trash, I'm talking about half-dressed women and half-dressed. Why am I even looking at that stuff on Marketplace? That's just retarded to me.
Because that's what people are saying.
No, it's
sex sales. I guess, but yeah. I don't want to look at. I don't. I got a wife. I can go look at her if I want to look at a woman. You know what I mean? That just aggravates me. I'm not on there to look at porn. I'm on there to look at items I want to buy, and it's getting ridiculous. I'm just getting sick and tired of Marketplace, man. I could go on.
That's the feeling I'm getting from these eBay listings now, though, and that's why I say I don't know that it's creating a better buyer experience. I think it could potentially push buyers away. I mean, I can't stand. I try looking at Marketplace. And somebody, some people have said, like, I got some friends up in Ohio and stuff, and they're like, I can find stuff on Marketplace all the time. And I'm like, I don't even hardly ever look at ours because I never find anything, and then you just see all the ads, whether it's Marketplace or just Facebook in general or Instagram or any of them. You scroll through there and it's like, 2 people, 4 ads, and it like pushes you from not even wanting to use it. And now eBay, you go to look for something and they want to just spread the table with, like, I pulled that listing up. It's for a bag, like a duffel bag.
Yeah.
Why do I care about a Kodak ad, like with a cat on it? That's far from a duffel bag, right?
Yeah.
So
You even
I
got a
just think
fishing
it's
bag in there.
unnecessary.
Yeah, they're mucking it up for buyers and sellers. It's just making
Yeah.
it. Yeah, you know what? They need to take some lessons from Apple, whether you like Apple or not. One of the things that Apple
I'm using a
does
Mac.
do is just nice and clean. It's nice and clean. There's not a lot of junk,
That's
and
why
that's
I
what
don't use Windows.
right.
That's why I don't use Windows. I can't stand. You buy a laptop from Best Buy and it's got 80% programs you're never going to use in your life that's just bogging the machine down, and 20% that you actually need. And you're exactly right. That's why I love my Macs. And Leroy is in the house. What's up,
So,
brother?
Leroy,
What's going on? Somebody said apples. I was like, oh my God, this is exciting.
Leroy,
we thought you were bringing them to the
for
party.
everybody joining. Leroy just woke up. This is what time he gets up every day.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then messages us
Leroy,
at
did you
6
pray
o'clock.
for
Get
us?
up, boys, when he's going to bed.
He bugs us all
Yeah.
night long. He just bothers us all night long. And he's like saying, why aren't you guys listing? You should be listing. What are y'all, lazy or something? And it's like some of us, don't wait till 7 o'clock to get up.
McLeod says, I know it's a huge pain for sellers that the button on the corner defines similar, but from a buyer's perspective, it allows buyers to see roughly how much that item is really going for on eBay. Now that's a good way of looking at it too,
But how many buyers do you know? We know as buyers, because we've all shopped on eBay. How do we normally search for an item? We'll put in what we want, and we'll normally sort
I try and
by
find the cheapest one.
Cheapest, right? So what good is that
I'm
button
cheap.
if they're clicking on the cheapest item to begin with?
Yeah.
Like it's just going to take them to the more expensive ones.
Yeah, and as a seller, I've accepted that promoted and advertising is just going to be part of the game at this point now. And I've got no bones to pick about that. That is what it is. Just don't do it on my listing. Don't advertise other people's stuff on my listing. You
Right.
feel
Like
that's
Tactical
what it
Z,
is.
I agree with what he said. I mean, I really do. Here it is right here. Let me go back up. He says, if you're paying extra to promote your listings, they should not show other sellers' items. I agree with that. I'm not paying extra to show other people's items. I mean, I kind of see that point with that. I do.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the only way to win there is you have to have the cheapest item, but then that's not always, that's not taking into account the whole buyer experience either. Part of, I may not always have the cheapest listing. I try not to have the highest price listing unless it's just a special item. But then the other thing is, like, you're not taking into account that, the cheaper listing is not going to pack it as well as I'm going to pack it. And it's just irritating.
Mm-hmm.
It's just irritating, man.
Hey, Mac, I want to let you know I tried calling you this morning, but I didn't get no answer.
MacBook or Mac Apple?
McLeod 72. Mac, he's a friend of mine that lives in Florida. He's another reseller. He's been doing it for 20 plus years. So
I have a question.
He's a good guy.
I got a couple of questions if I can jump in for a few minutes. I come over and I want to take over the show. Does anybody know anybody who's looking for any blenders or anything? Because I might,
blenders?
Yeah, like the parts of those. I might have like 6 or 7 like little parts or something. But do you know anybody who sells that stuff?
I might know somebody. What kind of blenders are there? What's the brand on them?
Oscar Mayer.
Yeah, they don't want those.
No, what's
Oster?
Was it
Oster?
Oster, yeah.
Oster. I can't never say it right. My wife gets
That's
all
why I
over
said Oscar Mayer. That's why I said Oscar Mayer. No, I'm serious. Does anybody know anybody? I know some real cheap real cheap.
How many you got?
Like 4.
4?
Yeah.
Shoot me a text later on. We'll see what we can come up with.
Hey, did either one of you guys look at that belt buckle thing I showed you yesterday? Not that either one of you sell belt buckles, but did y'all check into that?
I didn't see. Yeah. I did see it. I think.
Yeah, somebody
Max
there.
says he totally agree with y'all. He doesn't like it either. I did ask my mom who does shop there, and she does use it to see price costs, so she doesn't have to weed through thousands of pages. So
Hey.
there's a view from a shopper, Brandon.
Look, I see the usefulness of it, but it still pisses me off.
Well, I got a question here for the three of y'all, because I already know my answer, but I have a buddy that he lives in Ohio, and he's been trying to use Shop Goodwill to do some of the sourcing. And he's noticed that Shop Goodwill is starting to sell stuff by the pallet, almost where they're just like taking out one specific brand and making a whole pallet of like Nike or a whole pallet of Levi's, or, you know, whatever the case, whatever the name brand you want to call it. Which, all right, all good. We know there's a lot of crazy stuff that Goodwill does. How do you feel that Goodwill's putting reserves
You're not
on their auctions now? What's your thoughts on that?
I didn't know they was doing all that.
My thoughts.
I quit shopping at Goodwill about 8 months ago.
So where are you shopping?
The local
Leroy's
thrift stores.
Emporium.
Yeah, fix to go shop at Leroy's.
I don't have nothing.
No, I'm serious. He sent me a listing last night, and it was 243 pounds of Levi's and Wrangler denim. And it was local pickup, so it was too far away from me to worry about bidding on. But at the time, it was at $99. Nobody had bid. It ended at $343. And it didn't sell because it said reserve not met. So they're now setting reserves on their auctions on donated goods.
That's disgusting.
The part that I think's funny.
See, and that's why I don't shop at Goodwill no more.
The part that
I'll go to the bins, but I'm not.
Yeah, the part I think's funny is that people online get tore up over people shopping at Goodwill and then selling it online, and they don't realize that Goodwill's selling stuff on eBay too.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't even on eBay. This is on the Shop Goodwill site.
Yeah,
like their own website.
God,
They're now setting reserves.
That's disgusting.
And
For donated
I don't
items.
even know. It was $343. Like, how much?
yeah, right.
It's a pallet full. What are y'all gonna do? Then throw them in the store. They sit there. You're gonna throw them into the bins. I mean, like $343 is not chump change. I mean, jeez. He sent me that today. He was like, well, those jeans didn't actually sell because there was a reserve on the listing.
Wonder if you could,
yeah, that's dumb, man.
You could set up a donation center with a sign that says Goodwill, but spell it differently.
Get people. Hey, there you go.
Well, we have another thrift store that's actually it's right up the kind of next door to the neighborhood I live in, and I won't donate to Goodwill. I'll take it over there and donate to them because I know that the money they're using is going back into helping people in the community. There's no CEO raking in money. It's like a pole barn type building that's set there, and they'll go out and pick stuff up from people. They have half off. Different categories are half off. Each day they have different things. I don't go over there and buy much, but if I'm donating things, I'd rather give it to them because then I know at least if somebody buys it, they can get use out of it, and whatever they're selling, they're giving it back to the community
That's
people that
disgusting.
need it. So
It's just disgusting. It is disgusting.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's so I got to where now I donate and shop at the thrift stores that, like what Brandon was talking about, where they give back to the community. There's one that gives to a homeless shelter or something like that, and they there's another one that we shop at that gives to men struggling with addiction. There's a home where the men are struggling with addiction, and they're staying there to try and beat that. So I got to where I shop and donate to thrift stores that are going to give back to the community. I'm not doing that with Goodwill no more. I'll go to the bins. I'll go to the bins to shop, but I'm not going to the Goodwill stores. I'm not donating to the Goodwill stores because they're just, man, I'm telling you, I was already upset with Goodwill, and what Brandon just told me made me even madder because it's right, man. I mean, it's donated stuff. How are you going to put a reserve on donated stuff? That's just, oh God, man, that's stupid. And
Well,
Silver Hair is doing the same thing you doing, Leroy. Look at here. Let's see if I can find it. Here you go. Look, he went to an auction, local auction
my
yesterday.
bad. It was 300. I wish that camera would show it better. $351.
Yeah, I see that. And that's what it sold for. And they said the reserve wasn't met. Jeez.
This is why you got a yard sale, Chris.
$351.
This is why you got a yard sale, Chris, so you can get it before it gets to the Goodwill.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing in March. I'm gonna start going to yard sales this year. We're gonna start in March.
I think the best bet is the way that I do it is go to estate auctions.
I do like how Leroy does it. I do like that.
If
I kind of sort of, Leroy, kind of sort of, because the good stuff, man, that one you and I went to, some of the good stuff. I mean, people are just crazy, man.
Really good stuff, and I paid peanuts for it. I didn't spend over $100. I spent $108 in that one piece I sent to you last night. I sold for $100. So I don't believe any of that.
Yeah. You just, man, that was just some things that I just could, like them golf. Like, for instance, them a lot of golf clubs, them 4 bags of golf clubs. There was no reason for that to go $75. None. But it was just me and the other guy, and I'm just like, nah, man, come on, So I just, some people, I don't know. I did get a good buy on the Chilton books and manuals, which, by the way, I made another sale. Sold a lot of the catalogs. There were some catalogs in there. There was like 13 catalogs. I sold a lot of those for I think it's like $15-20 or something like that. So I got rid of those. I got a motorcycle book out of there, a Harley Davidson. Look at this, guys. Hold on. Is this it? Yeah. I got this right here out of that lot. This is an $80 book all day long. Look it up. It's $80. And what it is, it's a Harley. What?
Is it listed?
Yeah, it's listed. It was the first one I listed. Hold on, man.
What's the name of the book?
Harley Davidson wiring diagram is all I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, I think a good way to source is if you don't mind dropping, several $100s at a time. They find just big lots of stuff online. So that's a good way to do it.
Chilton's books sell.
I told my wife we watched a video last night. I think it was Dustin, that pro picker guy. I think that's his channel.
Mm-hmm.
There was a yard sale they'd gone to, and there was somebody who had a mountainous stack of stuff that they were buying from it, and then they bought a ton of stuff from it. I'm waiting to find one of those kind of yard sales where you walk up and it's just like everything is great, and being like, hey, I'll give y'all $1,000 right now to shut it down and just let me take everything. I'm hoping to find one of those.
So I'm gonna tell y'all,
Yeah.
I did pretty good in 2023 for being my first year, and I was pretty happy with how I did. But I made some stupid buys. Like I'm not afraid to say it or ashamed to say it, because we learn, right? But you mentioned going to a sale and going up and saying how much for everything. That can get you in so much trouble, because
That's
I
why
did that.
you don't ask them the price, you give them the price.
Well, I did it at one sale, and I still have like pretty much everything sitting here. I just I overpaid on it to begin with. I got it home. I got overwhelmed by it, and then I lost interest and I lost motivation when I did it. And so I've just the only way I could figure out to move past it was put it away, you know, just set it aside and move forward with other things and not let it bother me. And so I moved past it. I've realized I spent that money, and at some point, hopefully I recoup some of it. Um, but it's those kind of buys that really they can really bite you in the butt quick if you don't do it properly. I overpaid, clearly. It was a lot of stuff. And there might be some profit there. I don't know. I gotta just figure out how to dig in it. But put it this way, it took me 3 trips to pick everything up.
What kind of stuff is it?
It was all video games.
Oh wow.
Consoles, games, accessories, everything was video game related. The only problem was a lot of it was disc games, and they weren't good ones. So
I bought a timeout. Timeout. I'm gonna reach through this screen and I'm gonna smack Leroy.
He sent an offer.
He knows what he did.
That's what that sound was.
Yeah.
He's muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Leroy.
I sent them a $5 offer.
Yeah.
Hey, does that stimulate traffic to the listing? I'll give you some of mine. You can.
It does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up there too.
Give
I'm
me
not
some
even
low
gonna acknowledge
balls.
it.
Give
So
me
I'm
some
leaving
low
it.
balls, Leroy.
Go ahead, Brandon. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just I might have actually told this story before, but you know, when he mentioned the bulk buy thing, the opportunities happen, but I need to learn to pick them wisely. And this year, I'm not going to. Well, I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to attempt to not make the stupid buys this year. If it's worth it and it's something that I'm actually going to mess with, then I'll do it. If it's something that I know I'm just going to push to the side and not do, I'm just going to walk away from it.
Let's rewind just for a second there too, because I want to preface that and put context to it. If it's stuff that you know about and you walk up and you're like, oh man, this is the stuff, and and it's something you know about, then lay the money down and do it. If it's not something you know about, I 100% would not recommend doing that, because you can get stuck with a lot of stuff that just does demotivate you. So,
well, that makes my buy worse, because like I know all about video games.
What you do it for?
So here's a weird thing. Like you mentioned Dustin, and obviously he buys video games all the time, right? All the time. I absolutely hate, and I don't know why, I hate listing and selling video game stuff. I will buy it all day long. I will play video games. I know about video games. I grew up with video games. It's awesome when I find them, but I absolutely despise listing and selling them. So
Hey,
I don't know why
Fraser,
I buy
Mac.
them.
There's your answer right
Let me
there.
tell you, there's Mac
It's so
McLeod.
much though.
He
Like I couldn't ship
talk
it.
to him,
There's
man.
so
I promise you, man. Find him on Mac. Look up 540 flips on Instagram and send him a
I'll
message
just
about
give
them
you an
video games. If he
example. I have at least, I might have more. I have at least 7 original Xboxes. I have 3 Super Nintendos, 3 or 4 GameCubes, several Nintendo 64s, several Sega Genesis. I don't know what games all I have because I have totes, and yes, that's plural. I have totes of games, but I don't think it's anything like your big hitter games. It's going to be probably average at best stuff. But consoles, I do have a ton of consoles and accessories and all that goodness, but it's
we
just
talked-
sitting there.
We talked about last week. I think it was actually your idea, Brandon. You'd said give each other a goal or something, or to give it. So my goal, my
It was
my
Leroy.
challenge to you is to just pick one of those things, whether it's a week or one of those things a day, and put it up instead of like trying to deal with all of it. Just pick one of them. I mean, a GameCube will sell pretty good, so just pick
It's
one.
hard when you have a bunch of it though, because when I have a bunch of it, I just want to do most of it all in a day until I get sick of it. I don't want to have to do like if I'm doing Matchbox cars, I want to do 20 Matchbox cars in a day. I don't want to do 5 and then tomorrow have to set it up and do 3 more. And
Yeah, I get that, but it's like one of those things where like so when I was a kid, I hated eggs and they made me sick, and my dad made me eat eggs every day, So like for me, it's like I've been having to try to find, one of the things I want to do is just clear out some clutter this year. That was one of my big goals for this year. So it's like I try to find an egg every day and get rid of it. There's an item in my in our death pile or something that my wife's not going to list it because it's too big or it's an electronic or it's something like that. So it's like I've been trying to find find some eggs to put up and get listed and get sold.
Well, I'm the one that started off several weeks ago saying that I wanted to challenge all of us. I think we need to help motivate even the chat. Y'all are challenged too. I want all of us to reach towards. I'm not even going to say reach our potential because potential can be unlimited. But I want us to all reach closer and towards our potential and do better and do more of what we're capable of. And I bought the stuff, and then when I got it home, I let it get to me. But I'm laughing about it, obviously, because and it's also I looked back on it. I told my wife, I was like, I'm not looking at it as a loss because I'm probably going to take one of each of those systems and I'm going to keep them. And then I'm going to have my own little collection. So did I pay too much for it? Sure. But, I have the stuff. It's cool, right? But no, I think you're right. I need to just start taking the fork and pulling a piece out each day and just, move it along. And that's kind of why I've been on Chris. He said he's out of inventory, but he said he had a ton of stuff. And I know it might be in a storage unit, but it's there. Leroy has seen my store.
Hey,
I know he's checking on me.
I went to that storage unit. I went to that storage unit this morning, and I got one of them big tall boxes and then 2 other little boxes. I got And I was able to list stuff today, and I got stuff to list tomorrow. But I don't have but one more box in my storage unit. I went through the whole storage unit, and I ain't got but one more box. I'm
What
going
you
to start.
do is bring boxes, bring some boxes and bring some cash and drive about 45 minutes and you'll have about 35 blenders.
35. These
I
aren't
would say
35.
Leroy has blenders, and they're you can make some money on them. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Just
blenders,
from what I see.
blenders, the pieces. It's part them out. That's what I do at blenders. Part them suckers out.
They're not all,
But
they're-
I would tell
they're not all-
everyone in the chat and tell Leroy too. Golf clubs, golf stuff, golf head covers. Now's the time to list that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Now is the time.
So what do you do? What do you guys do because golf clubs is one of those things I know I could pick up and make money on, but just the whole box end of it just bugs the heck out of me. What do you guys do for boxes if you sell them?
I'll tell you what I do.
I buy my boxes.
Yeah, where do you buy them from? I want the whole kit and caboodle here. Leroy,
I'll tell you, simple. I buy them. I buy 6x6x48s. I know before anybody even says it, you can ship a lot of the clubs in 4x4x48s, but the drivers and stuff take 6x6s. Also, if you have a set of irons, like a few run on irons, you can fit them in a 6x6. So why buy multiples of them? You're just taking up more room. Just buy one box.
Yep.
I use those boxes for other longer items too that are narrow.
Baseball bats.
Yep. I buy them from Uline, but I charge $12.99 on my golf club shipping, and send them UPS. $12.99 covers from anywhere across the U.S. So, you know, and it's likely going to cover the cost of the box in most places because it's not everybody in California is not buying golf clubs. So, you know,
what's the box cost? $3 or $4 a piece?
I think they're like $2 something if I remember.
I think right. I've looked at it before, and I just remember I've looked at Uline.
Brad, when he gets done, I'll tell you what. When he gets done, I'll tell you what I do.
Okay.
I don't buy my other boxes from Uline anymore. Yeah. Golf club ones are the only ones I purchase from them now. I do use another site for my other boxes, but hang on, I'll look the price.
They're pretty pricey. I like Uline, but man, they're a little pricey. But there are some things that.
But if you order like over $300 worth of stuff with them, your shipping's free and it all comes together, and then you don't have to look for it again.
Is that over 300? I haven't seen that.
I don't think it's that high. Is it that high, Brandon? It's about 300.
Well, I stopped using Uline because their shipping, it's not the price of their product.
Yeah.
It's their shipping is so dang high.
Yeah.
And so I started
look right here.
using,
I'm going to show you something. Absolute Fine does exactly what I do. Check this out.
It's $2.14 a box.
Yeah. Getting a
priority tubes are free. Hey, look, priority tubes are free, and UPS doesn't care if it's a priority tube or not. If you got to they don't. They will tell you, you can mail anything you want UPS in a priority box. They do not care. That's exactly what I do. For my single clubs, I use the priority tubes. If I have to Frankenstein the box to make it longer, I do it, and I send that sucker out to UPS. Now, as far as golf club bags, sets, and stuff like that, I will go to the UPS store and get a box for it. But single clubs, I put them in priority tubes all day and send them UPS, and I charge $11.99 shipping. I may lose a couple bucks if it goes to California, but I cover most of the country with that. That's what I do.
That's not going to work.
I buy my boxes. I'm not doing that route because I've seen a golf club get bent and broken in half, and then priority tubes ain't all they're cracked up to be, and you got to Frankenstein a few together. I'd rather just, spend the $2. The boxes are $2.14 a piece. I mean,
for how many?
Making $40 on a golf club, $2 expense isn't too much, So
I'll tell you what I do. What I do is I don't mess with golf clubs, but when I do, it's wedges. It's wedge, any kind of pitch and wedge. any kind of high
Sand
iron.
wedge.
Yep, any kind of high anything copper. And what I do is I get the torch, I take the head off, I ship them
Yep.
the head, and I don't lose much. I'm telling you right now, I don't lose much.
Yeah. Hey, so
And
time
see,
out.
I do that too.
I saw you had a video, Chris, about taking
Yeah.
apart golf clubs. So what's that
Yep.
about? People are just buying
So
the club heads.
okay, so normally, when a person buys a golf club, a lot of times, majority of the time they don't the grips, they're gonna trash the grip, they're gonna trash the shaft too, because the shaft may not be what they need. So you just buy the club for the head, and then you take the head off, and if you got a set of them, you can sell the whole set of heads and just throw it in a bag, man. I mean, wrap it up in actually use a padded flat rate envelope for those. I do, and I wrap them up real good with bubble wrap or whatever. Throw them in a padded flat rate envelope and send them off.
Yeah.
But just take the heads off, and you can sell the heads. The heads sell just as good as the club, sometimes more than the whole club.
Wedges, any kind of wedges sell very good that way. Very
Sand
good.
wedge, pitching wedge. Yep.
1 and 2 irons sell good that way. I wouldn't do it with
the lower number. I've found that the lower number up to the 3 iron, they sell pretty good. And then your higher numbers. Now I don't do the drivers. I don't take the heads off the drivers. I leave everything on the drivers. Now some of them heads you got to be careful because they are okay. Let me tell you, the ones I take off are on a steel shaft. If you have a graphite shaft, then you got to have a puller, because a graphite shaft. So if you watch that video, when I go to take the head off on that steel, you can twist it. With a graphite shaft, if you twist that sucker and you take it off, that shaft on the end will tear. It's like it unwinds. So what you want to do is you want to just take it off. Now here's something else with the shafts. A lot of people don't know this. You can sell them shafts by themselves on eBay, and for all things, check this out, for tomato steaks, and people will buy them. If nobody knows what a tomato stake is, it's where you stick a rod in the ground, your tomato grows up on it to hold the fence up or whatever. People buy those for tomato steaks. You can sell the shaft alone. If you got a good graphite shaft, and you got a shaft puller, that's the only way you can take the head off of a graphite shaft without tearing it up. Otherwise, it's just going to unwind. It looks really crazy when you do it. But yeah, you can just sell the heads. You don't have to have the whole club. You can sell the heads.
Well, okay. Yeah.
So the clubs, the covers are, look, if you want to sell golf stuff, covers are really good. If you don't know much about clubs, that's a good way, because I sell golf club covers all the time. You're right. They're cheap. They're plentiful out there. They're everywhere, and they sell good. You get the right ones, they will sell. You can make $20 or $30 off of a cover. Easy. So covers are really, really good. I like covers too.
Well, that's all that needs to be said, I guess. Yeah.
Oh, did I miss?
So I had an issue today just before the show.
Oh no.
So a guy messaged me and he said he bought an item off of me, and I listed it. I listed it wrong. The description, not the description, the heading was a little wrong. And that happens with me because of the way that I have to do it. So as soon as he told me that, I said, I'm very sorry. I apologize. You didn't get what you were expecting to get. A refund right away. Bam. Right. Well, 10 minutes later, I was in the prayer meeting, so I didn't really read it. I read it when I got done. I read it, and he said, I don't want your money. I'm giving you your money back. I'm just letting you know. I saw it in the pictures, but I was just letting you know. I said, it's okay. I made a mistake. I send you your $20 back. You can keep the items, and I'm very sorry for your inconvenience. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, he didn't ask for a refund, but In my business model, you had a complaint. I did something wrong. I send you a refund. I don't care.
Yeah. So you don't even ask for the item back, Leroy?
No. Why? For what? For what? I
To
don't.
resell it?
No. It's $20. I paid 20 cents. I don't care.
If I made a mistake,
Yeah.
I'll bend over backwards to try to make it right. If you're trying to scam
Right.
me, I will lose $40 on a $4 item.
Right. I get you there.
Principle,
Yeah,
man.
Brad, did I answer your question about the golf clubs though?
You did. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
It's the
I
principle,
would like to
man.
just give an update, and since Leroy's bringing up like people complaining and then trying to say it's like the seller's fault, all 3 of the returns requests. I was talking about that, right? That whole little issue debacle.
Yeah.
All 3 of them status waiting for buyer to ship item.
Don't you
Imagine
hate
that.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Told y'all
Yeah.
it's all a rental program, and it's just ridiculous. But
It'll be
if
nice.
You know,
they
it's funny,
ship
we
them
have-
back, I would be surprised.
It'll be
Look,
nice
when someone buys.
I was just gonna say it'll be nice when those fall off your account by Christmas. There, Brandon.
You know, if we got to ship an item in a certain time frame, I think a buyer's return should have to ship it in a certain time frame, especially when we send so we send a label. As soon as we send a label, I think they should get 3 days. I think that's fair. That's what everybody else does. Everybody else, like Macquarie, they got 3 days to decide whether they want to keep an item or not. After 3 days, it's over with. You ain't doing nothing. You know, so
For me, I wouldn't even mind. Like, I don't mind the 30-day win.
He gone.
Uh-oh. He gone.
He don't mind.
He's gone. Leroy, did you
eBay
boot him?
booted him.
No, I haven't.
Oh, he tried to come back.
We're gonna jump off soon anyway, right?
Yeah, about 15 more minutes.
Okay.
I did get I'm up to let's see. I'm up to 870. I'm up to 870 now. 870 listings.
What? Oh.
Listings.
Well, so
They finally get
we were talking about challenging each other earlier, and I seen Sue. She says she's challenged on the daily. I know she can do and be better. Just needs a match to be lit under her. And I told you guys, I was thinking about it the other day. You know, each month we have approximately 30 days every month. Yeah, obviously some have 31 and some have fewer. I don't think it's out of reason to suggest that we could average 10 listings a day.
10 listings for 30 days or take 1 day, so 25 days.
No, so here's my thing. 300 listings for the month. I don't care if you do 25 listings one day and then take 2.5 days off. 300 average for the month comes out to average of 10 listings a day. That's what I was trying to say. I'm not saying you got to do 10 every day. If you do 15 one and the next day you only do 5, you're still at 10 a day. And if you think about that, that's not a lot. Like 10 listings isn't a lot.
It still takes me 5 hours to do 10 listings.
Well, what are you doing with the rest of your time?
I'm getting the listings ready. I'm talking to Chris.
He's sleeping. For God's sake, he doesn't get up to 8 o'clock at night.
You know what time I was at the warehouse this morning?
6:30.
4:30.
5 o'clock.
Okay, so that meant by 9:30 you could have had 10 listings done.
No.
Yeah.
I had them. No, I did. Yeah. By 9:30 I had I did have them done by 9:30.
There you go. That's, I'm not saying you got to get there, but let's say 6:30. Let's say you sleep in a little bit. You get there at 6:30. Before lunch, you would have 10 listings done.
It still takes me a while. I don't know why.
Brandon, real quick, did you see this message here?
I haven't checked the Instagram yet. I seen he put.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew that he did send you a
like,
message on it.
I'm not a fast
down near
lister.
you. Like, I'm in Virginia, and it's a ton of. Like I said, it took me 3 trips to pick it up in a Jeep, like my Cherokee. I mean, that's gonna be some expensive shipping. So, like,
Maybe
to ship what?
He said he was interested in some of the video game stuff, like that. Yeah, the distance is
Brad, what was you trying to say before you got kicked off?
I was just gonna. I don't even remember that now, but it wasn't important. I was just gonna say with like Leroy, I'm not a fast lister. My wife has gotten good, and she can put up 15, 20 pretty easy, but I'm not. When I'm listing, I'm a slow lister for whatever reason. I don't know.
Y'all want to know the truth? Y'all want to know the honest truth? I'm slow too, but I told y'all. I said it in our chat thread. I can't push y'all to run a mile or run 10 miles if I'm only running a half a mile. So motivating you guys has started motivating me, because I'm not going to tell y'all to do 10 if I'm only doing 6, right? So I'm trying to do 15 or 20 to show you guys, hey, we can do this. Not I can do this, not you can do it. We can do this. And that's motivating me more to do it.
I've been sending you my listings. I just, the flea market messes me up, and it takes 2 days, sometimes 3 days out of my week.
Well, that's that's a good point though for like your specific situation, Leroy. Is like eBay's not the center of your world, or Macari or whatever is not the complete center of your world. You're listing, you're selling, you're selling, doing flea market stuff, and so how many things do you take to the flea market every week? I mean, I saw you packing those bags the other week, and you probably did 25 or 30 of those things while we were doing the video. So to me, that's kind of like a listing.
I bring a few items.
Yeah, Buck is going to cheat. He's going to list one.
Yeah, that's me all day right there.
Does that count?
So
does that count?
Yeah, nope.
Does that count? One item with 10 quality?
No, because I've been doing a lot of those, and I don't count them. I don't count those. I did them today.
No, that's one listing.
What if
I listed today? Today I did list. Let's see. I did 1, 2.
Yeah, what was everybody's count today? Let's see.
I know we're low.
My board is downstairs. What did I end up with today? And I did a bunch of, because I have a grading order going out that I've been having to get ready. Let's see.
I did 15 today, and that was after Leroy's message about, hey, half the day's over. What's the count? And then y'all started, well, Chris ain't done nothing because he ain't responding, blah, 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 blah. And you're right. I hadn't listed nothing by then. I was cooking my wings. I was grilling them.
Yeah,
I did 12 new listings and 3 that I ended the listings, adjusted them, did new photos, pricing, all that stuff. So it was about 15 total, but I am not counting those 3 that I edited because that's not technically a new listing.
I did 15 new listings. How many, Leroy?
Okay, well, I'm at 240 something, I think, for the month. Where are you at?
I don't know. Let's see.
I don't have my book with me.
I relisted, and I did that. And did 200 of those this morning, and we got 7 up for the day. But I think we did, 15 yesterday. So,
no, I mean, I like to say also, just to clarify, setting goals is a goal for a reason. you're not always going to reach those goals, but it gives you something to push towards. So if we say, hey, let's try to do 300 a month, then you have something to shoot for. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're going to always hit it. It doesn't mean that you failed if you didn't hit it. It means that's a goal that you want to try to get to. And I just think it's nice to have something there to go after, and we know Chris is like out of inventory, so he's got to restock, and eventually he's going to get there because I'm going to push him, right?
I got 13 done today. No, but I've been following your motto.
He's ignoring.
I've been following your motto, Brandon.
I counted 91, but I know there's more because I got to 91 up until I did my end and relist, and I ended and relisted 100 of those. So, and then there's more before that, and I didn't want to scroll through 100.
And you did 15 today?
That includes the 15 a day. I had so far.
So previous to today, you were at 76 in 17 days.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I might be.
So, man, you gonna make me scroll. All right, hold on. Give me a minute.
I'm just messing with you guys.
So I had 100. I did.
Chris,
at some point in this month. No, I want to know.
No. Listen. I'm gonna send you a picture. I'm gonna send everybody in the chat a picture of my little board. And I think if you get one or something similar, it would help you, because I have that board right above my computer monitor where I do my listings, and it actually helps me see them numbers. And again, when I see, oh, well, yesterday I did this, let me try to do that again, it gets me motivated to try to do it. So I think that board actually helps me a lot.
Yeah.
If I don't hit the number, then maybe the next day I try to do a little bit more. So
yeah, we keep the board up, and you can see how much is listed each day and for the dollar amount they was listed, and then we keep a yearly total of that as well. So like a rolling total.
And Sue says she hasn't thrifted anything. She's just pulling from. That's all I've been doing. And it's actually pretty awesome because
good problem to have.
Yeah, I have not sourced in weeks, and it's like I dive in and I'm like, dang, I forgot I even had this stuff, and it's just awesome, especially when it sells. I listed a VCR that I've had sitting down there for I don't know how long. It sold in under an hour. So it was just sitting there, so it's cool getting that stuff listed and sold and preparing for the spring. So
let me, so you got your video game stuff, and, we talked about eat an egg, right, each day, whether you want to or not. So I'll tell you how bad I am. So I do have like a little stack of combo players, and there's a couple of pretty good VCRs in there, a couple stuff like that. And man, it's just hard for me to do it. Like, I actually made a cart with I've got a cart that I put together with the little TV and the power and the whole deal, so I can just go over there and load them up on it. I went to the step of like setting the cart up to test them and still not testing them. So that's how much I hate them. So I totally understand where you're at with like, oh man, I just don't even want to dig into it.
All right. Since the beginning of the month, I've listed 190 new items and ended and sold similar 111 items.
Well, dude, you're on
you
pace.
Counted that high?
Yeah.
I'm
I already knew. Well, that's what I was doing. I scrolled through and I counted all 190, whatever it was,
you're
items,
you're
new
ahead of
items,
pace.
but I already knew I did 111 end and sell similar. I already knew that was the number on that. So that's what I've done this month so far.
So you can take tomorrow off.
No, tomorrow's Friday. I got a list. I got a box of stuff here that's got to be listed. Look, all this stuff right here. Well, minus these Bibles. But all that right there, it's in that box right there. Let's see where you guys. That box right there, and this little thing right here. I gotta get that listed tomorrow. So, oh, and then I've been listing 4 golf clubs a day. So I got 4 golf clubs to list tomorrow too, and then I'm probably gonna try and go through some cards that I have tomorrow, and maybe see if I can list 2 or 3 of those. Maybe see what I can do. I did go through some today, and I went through and pulled out all my Reggie Whites. I actually had 3 of them, only 3, and from the Green Bay Packers. And there was 93, 94, and 95 were the card numbers. And so I listed all 3 of those together as one listing. I'm going to give it a shot, man, and see what happens with those. I mean, I know Brandon says they're a waste of time, but I got to learn something. I like cards, We pick up stuff that we like and just don't realize how much of a pain in the neck it is to list or inventory or research. And I'm going to tell you guys, I got a video that I got to get finished this week and get put out of. And Brandon was talking about bad buys earlier. And that's what this video is going to be called, because what happened is I went in without my phone. I've been doing that here lately. And if anybody's watched any of my new videos from this year, I've done really good with my buys. But this one particular one, this last one, I didn't do so good. I bought some stuff that probably it's their long tail items. I'm going to get my money back. I'm just not going to, they're not big profits, and they're going to be long tail items. So I'm probably going to title this video, "Don't Buy This Stuff Unless You Want to Sit on It Forever." But what happened was I made the video. So what I've gotten to what I do is, instead of coming in and listing everything and then making a video about it, I come in and I make the video as I unpack it. And then when I get done with the video, I screenshot, I Google, or I look up what the sold comp is on it. I screenshot it so I can add it to the video. So I only know what the value of the item is until you guys see it on the video. So when I did that video, I was like, man, this is horrible buy, because this stuff's going to sit forever, and I'm going to make my money back, but it's not going to be big profit. So I got an intro in the front of it talking about how don't buy these items unless you want to sit on them forever.
So
things not to buy unless you want long tail.
I told y'all that I bought the video game stuff. I don't think what I've mentioned is the bad. I can't even say it's a bad buy, because it could be really good. It's just a buy I haven't touched yet. That I actually bought way before the video game stuff. If you can top this one, I would be shocked. I have a $3,000 investment. Okay. You following?
You said a $3,000 investment?
$3,000 investment. I made a $3,000 purchase in Scottish kilts.
Oh man, I don't even know why that's funny, but of all the words,
I mean, that just sounds like it's going to sit forever, Brandon.
I did not expect Scottish guilt to come out.
Go and look them up. They actually sell. I just haven't.
Are they going to sit forever?
Yet. Huh?
Are they going to sit forever?
No, they actually sell and sell really good. I just haven't listed them.
Wow. Yeah, I would have never done that. Are you for real? Game picks: Ravens, 49ers, Chiefs, and Lions. Okay, I'm telling you this: whoever the Ravens are playing, I'm picking them. I think that's Houston Texans, whatever you want to call them. I'm picking them. CJ Stroud, I'm going to tell you, I absolutely have so much respect for that boy after what I've been seeing the last couple of weeks with him, man. I'm going Texans all the way. Who did the Chiefs play?
The Bills. And I wanted to pick.
I'm taking the Bills.
I wanted to pick the Texans, but I I just feel like the Ravens defense is really good, and I feel like it's going to bring Texans back to earth a little bit, and I feel like Lamar is just going to shed the. I feel like he's going to get it done this time. And the Chiefs thing,
I
go
Bills.
Josh Allen. It's been a while since Josh Allen, and I feel like he's going to do it this weekend.
Brandon, 130.
So why'd you pick? Oh, you're saying Josh Allen. No, I'm picking the Bills this time on Chiefs. Lions, they're playing Tampa Bay. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
That's going to be a tough one because what's his name, man? He's turning it on these last few games.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield
for Tampa Bay. Who do the 49ers play?
The Packers. I feel like the Packers are going to come back to earth this week. And I will say this about the Chiefs game. I will say this. I wanted to pick the Bills, but it's been a while since Josh Allen went like bad Josh Allen, tragic Josh Allen. But I also feel like everybody talking about the Chiefs are back because of what they did against the Dolphins. I'm telling you, man, they were playing like the retirement home team with the Dolphins. So I feel like the Chiefs aren't back in the way people are thinking they're back. But I
feel like Tampa Bay could have beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to get it done.
Brandon says no.
I picked the Chiefs in that game for one simple reason. Going into Arrowhead with those temperatures, you had to be prepared.
Yeah, I forgot it was really cold.
Like outside of Miami being injured and everything else, I said it. There was one team out there that knows Tyreek Hill better than any other team than the team he's on. That's the Chiefs. You got a team coming from Miami, Florida, going into frigid Arrowhead Stadium. You have Andy Reid, who is a very seasoned and successful coach. Like all of the elements lined up for the Chiefs to pull that out. Not that the Dolphins were a bad team. It just didn't. That matchup was not there for them. So, and really, had the Dolphins beat Buffalo to finish the season, they wouldn't have had to go into the Chiefs. Buffalo would have had to
play Buffalo again.
So it would have been a whole different matchup. So that got flipped around. You know, Miami would have been playing Pittsburgh at that point or whoever. So, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm a Ravens fan. And this game I am not confident in. But I want to see Lamar win the Super Bowl. And there's one reason the man has taken so much criticism, and he's one of the most dominant quarterbacks athletically that the NFL's ever seen. He's probably going to have his second MVP. This is the second time that the Ravens have, you know, basically went into the playoffs with the best record in the NFL. And everybody thought that he was going to bail out on the Ravens for money. And he thought that he no longer wanted to be on the team, you know, thought that he was faking injuries last year so he didn't have to play and all this other mess. They worked the contract out. He's came right back with an MVP season. Many quarterbacks play good and then get paid. He got paid and has had a heck of a year. And so I hope that he can take that contract and win that Super Bowl and just show everybody, look, not everybody gets paid and then just slacks off, because there's been so many quarterbacks that have done that. So I really hope he wins. It'd be cool as a fan too, but you know.
So with all that, this is a good thing that the football is kind of a good thing to bring up, considering it with eBay. So what kind of hats do we look for now to sell? Like you said, a Miami hat's still selling.
Chris, I love hats. I will be quite honest. How do you think I get so many listings done? I just showed y'all I have a template set up and I can list hats like crazy. But I will That
Cheated,
ain't
yeah,
cheating.
you
I got
cheated.
the inventory and I got the listing template.
Cheating.
That ain't cheating. A listing is a listing, and I'll tell you what makes it not cheating is the fact I sold a Kangol hat for $15 earlier this evening. I sold a Patagonia fleece hat for $40 earlier today. I sold a Dolphins hat for $40 yesterday. I sold a Triple H hat for $50 yesterday. Let's see.
See, I don't
I mean, I
understand
could
how
just
you
keep
guys
going.
sell hats.
So far already on the year this month, I'm at almost $500 in hat sales.
I can't
On
give
just
a
hat
hat
sales.
away, man. I can't give
So
hats away.
I love hats. I will continue buying hats. I will continue selling hats, and yeah.
So Brandon,
I don't understand it.
135. I'm 139. So if I do 10 a day for 10 more days, I'm only going to be at 239.
Oh,
No, I
you're so
thought you was
close.
asleep, Leroy. I didn't know you was counting over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much longer we're going to go, but I promised my wife that I would go build Legos with her. So
Awesome, dude.
Oh yeah. So, all right, Brandon,
that's
what you
our
got coming
little
up, buddy?
de-stressor.
Leroy says you weren't ready to run out. You go first because you want to run out. So, what do you got coming up?
Nothing. I got 10 listens to do in the morning. I'll see you guys on the chat line at 4:30.
Yeah, not me at 4:30.
I won't be up at 4:30 because she would kill me if I get up at 4:30.
Yeah,
but I will be up soon after. How about that?
I don't get out of bed till 10 o'clock in the morning, dude. What are you talking about?
We know that.
You better come up here and get these blenders if you give me the right money. Because if not, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, we'll talk about them. Let me talk with the other boss and see if she's interested in fooling with them again. We fooled with them a couple of years ago and did pretty good. But we'll talk about it, and then I'll go get with you.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys, have a good night.
All right,
Bye,
Leroy.
Leroy.
Hey, we'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yep.
All right, Brandon, what you got coming up, man? You got any auctions coming up on One Stop Shop or anything like that?
I've never done a live auction. I need to do that.
No.
That's something I need to do this year at some point, but I've never done one. I've been approved on what not to sell for a couple of years. I don't know. I've put so much focus on everything else. I don't know if I want to add that into it. I'd like to try it, but what I have coming up is I want to get seriously, pushing along everybody. I think we all need that help. I said it last week too. Motivating you guys has helped motivate me because, like I said, I'm not going to tell y'all to run 10 miles if I'm only running 5. That's not how things work. This weekend, I have a sports card grading order that I have to prepare and preview to get that shipped out. That's always a lot of fun. I do a live preview of every card that we're shipping out over on my sports card channel. And then once they're graded and come back, I do a live grade reveal on my sports card channel, and people come in, hang out, and talk cards and see what everybody's.
What's the name of your sports card channel?
It's Bobbles and
Can you
Ball
put the
Cards.
link in the chat?
I'm not in the chat.
Bobbles and ball cards.
Yeah, this is my logo over there. So
can you find it, Brad, and put it in there?
I'll try do that real quick.
I do that
so everybody can check that out.
I'll have that doing that live preview going this weekend.
Mac, I don't remember selling you a Ford hat. But, that must have been a long time ago.
Yeah, just continue digging in my death pile listing. I will take Brad up on his little egg challenge. I'll throw some eggs on eBay. So,
it's the only thing. It's the only thing I found that works for me because I honestly I 100% understand if you so it's it did let me do the
there it is. Yeah.
No, I 100% understand because like just looking at a death pile, it's just overwhelming, especially of a stack of stuff you just don't want to dig into. And the only thing I found is, yeah, I could make myself get in there and do it, and that's probably the best route. But man, it's one of those things like, can you run a marathon? Like looking at a marathon, and it's like I just couldn't do that. It's like, well, could you run a quarter mile down the road and back? I can do that. So
yeah, my thing is with the video games really is
I remember.
it was cool to pick them up, and especially the old systems and everything. And I just, like I said, when I got it all home and unloaded it, and it was just a pile everywhere, I was like, I don't even know where to start. And then so when I got it finally out of the way and organized, I was like, well, now I don't want to drag it all back out, because it's out of the way. And then I was like, well, it's also kind of cool having all these systems, so they're not bothering anybody, So I've just kind of left them there.
I'll tell you what, you probably wouldn't get what you would want to get for them, but if you did do a live auction, I bet you could move most every bit of that stuff in a couple of auctions.
It's a lot of stuff.
All the systems.
Hey,
put it that
well,
way.
the systems probably, yeah. But
I want to put this
I'm
out there.
Hop off of here and go de-stress and build some Lego with the wife. So,
all right,
I'll catch you guys
Brandon,
in the chat.
Appreciate you stopping by.
And everybody in the chat, thanks for hanging out tonight.
Yeah. So before we get off here, I want to Brad, go ahead. You got anything coming up on this? One Stop Shop this week or anything?
No, I probably will run an auction next week if Eric's running early in the week or on a Saturday. I probably will run an auction, but other than that, I don't really have anything going. I know sales were slow for everybody last week. Our sales have bounced back really, really good this week, kind of back to where they were before the Christmas holidays and all that. So I hope that's the same for everybody else. And I've got nothing else to say to everybody except for
video,
peace, love, and good happiness. I did record some video. I did record some video today, but I hadn't sat down to put anything together. So, but I'm not going to say I'm going to, because once I say I'm going to do something, then it feels like a promise to me and I have to do it. So, but I'm seriously considering.
Right. So, guys, I want to encourage. Listen, I normally would not do this, but I feel like we're all business people now, and one of our main business is eBay. So I want to say this: I support eBay. The way I support eBay is I buy into their stock. Guys, we can buy into their stock. It's right around $40 a share right now. That's not that bad, and I think now would be a good time to start buying, because when the election comes and we get a turnaround election, I believe the stocks will start going back up. That's just my personal belief. You don't have to buy into it. That's just my belief. I'm going to start doing that. I already have stock in it, but I'm going to start doing a little more. But as far as One Stop Shop goes, I don't have anything. I got some stuff. So, Brad, you could probably answer this question for me. So did you watching the raid train? You was part of the raid train, but did you watch any of the others selling Saturday?
No, it was one of those weird Saturdays where we had a thing we had to go do. And so when OBX asked me if I'd run one, it was like I either had to run at the very beginning, and that's the reason I wound up running, or at the very end, because I was just that whole block through the day, I was totally gone. Yeah. And then the rest of the time that I was there, I was actually getting stuff ready to go on the auction. So I didn't really get to participate this time.
So the reason I asked is because I noticed Death Pile Picker, he was selling a lot of records, vinyls. And they would use the term when they were selling these, and he wasn't the only one doing it. They would use the term, I won't speak on the condition. Can you tell me what they mean by that? Do you know?
I guess my guess would be is that he's saying that's a way of saying that it's untested and he can't really grade it. Like, he's not grading the condition of it. And so maybe that's
the reason I ask. So the reason I ask is I have a crate sitting up there full of vinyl records that I want to run on District on One Stop Shop, but I can't speak on condition. I guess I see now. Okay, so that's
that'd be
why I
what-
would do that.
Other than like I ran some albums in one of mine earlier. I had some really good albums to run, so I ran those, and a lot of them I had listened to. I'd put them on while we were working, and they were fine. There were some that I hadn't, and it was one of those like I would just say something. I didn't say I can't speak on the condition, which that's probably a good way to say it, but I would say visually it looks good. I don't see any noticeable, scratches or, I tried to kind of describe what I was seeing there, that it looks like, I don't see any big scratches or anything like that or anything that would.
But I think I'm going to try and get rid of some of these. I'd like to get rid of all of them. I mean, they're mostly like they're old and they're like gospel stuff or opera stuff or stuff like that. Nothing like popular rock or popular. I do got some country up there, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it out. I got some license plates. I'm probably gonna run. We're probably gonna do some jewelry, some brooches.
Yeah.
Brooch. Golly, I can't even say it. Them pins you put on your shirts, the women's.
Yeah,
okay. I got some patches. I might probably run, possibly. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm planning on doing some more lives, like you said earlier next week. I was actually might do one tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah.
Probably not. I got a lot to list tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
I will say on the albums, it was kind of like like running behind OBX and running some stuff. There wasn't a ton of people in there, so I had some really good albums. And they didn't sell real well. I mean, I had like, several Michael Jackson albums. I just had a lot of good albums. And
look, so I'm just trying to get rid of what I got. I'm dollar.
I'm saying they didn't sell real great. And then I actually wound up, after I ran them, all the ones that didn't sell, I put them in a last chance auction and sold a bunch of those for whatever they sold for. It wasn't a lot, but I got rid of the ones I had anyway.
Right. Oh yeah, get rid of them.
I was just trying to sell.
So I think that's going to be it.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it. I got a video dropping, guys, this week. Again, it's probably things you shouldn't buy if you want to watch it. Other than that, I think that's it. I'm going to do a little auction on One Stop Shop. Please check the links below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. We've had a really good time. We really enjoy doing this. We enjoy doing it. I know we do. I know Brandon and Leroy does. I know you do too, Brad. And I hope that this helps people. I hope our discussion, helps everyone learn something. So, and don't forget to ask questions, guys. We really like questions. So, hey, tell everybody about us, and y'all come back next week. We will see y'all then.